Ascension is waking up. You are ascending up into the sky. You're opening yourselves up. You're moving yourself into new dimensions and realities. And a lot of people are ascending or awakening right now as they're awakening themselves to the truth. They're starting to get rid of their rose-colored glasses and putting on the idea of looking at what is real and deciphering through what is real or not. Through my meditation this morning, they came through to me and the Council of Nine, and they showed me a process of the ascension and moving into ascension within 5 minutes. And I was really blown away from this. So today I'm going to be talking about what this change is and how we're going to move into ascension within 5 minutes. My name's Con Knight. I am a spiritual and emotional guide. I help people ascend themselves into their awakening. I provide a space for you to move into your ascensions. You can wake up, you can connect to yourself through a safe environment, using meditations, using proper foods, nutrition. And as a result of that, people are waking up. We're healing our bodies, we're healing our mental state, and we are just completely waking up by moving into this state. So thanks everyone for joining today. So as I mentioned, the ascension process, this is waking up. You are ascending and moving up into a higher dimensions of realms. So for those of you that know what ascension is, you've been practicing this for a while. For anyone that's new, that's just awakening, this is just another part of your awakening process that you're moving into the truth, knowing yourself, knowing what's real and what's not. This is part of why we do meditation. Meditation isn't to quiet the mind and still the mind. It's to know who you are, to remember who you are and get rid of all that stuff that's around you and start seeing the truth by letting go of all the noise and the chatter that's around you. And this is why we do meditations. So through this ascension process, the Council of Nine came through in my meditation today, and they had this to say about the ascension process. And I want to share this with you because this will shift you into ascension within 5 minutes. So they say there's a reason why the world is suffering right now, and it's because that's how you've chosen to view it. They say this is your perception. By viewing the world through your perception, you're looking at it with glasses that are riddled with your personality and experiences. Your ego is casting judgment on everything, and you already have an opinion before knowing all the information. So instead of looking at the world from your perception, look at it from your perspective. And they go on to say, look at it from outside of your personality and your opinion. So when you observe the world from a point outside of yourself, you shift from an opinionated point of view to an inclusionary point of view. One is closed off and sheltered from possibilities. The other accepts all possibilities, outcomes, and things that are I can't read my writing here, that are neutral points of view. So perspective is a loving, all accepting point of view that is in line with creation. When you shift to a perspective view, you teach the self to allow all possibilities, which allows you to allow all possibilities of change. Want to open up your consciousness, channel more clearly, heal your body and mind, you need to be willing to accept the unlimited view of possibilities, which is the view from outside of you. Your perspective allows. Perception limits and perspective allows. So what are you choosing for yourself? So I thought this was really interesting, what they had to say to me this morning. And what I wanted to do was just break this down a little bit. So at the start, they said the reason the world's shifting, and we're kind of all seeing that right now, that it's a world divided between one possibility and the next. And they said this is how we choose to view it. So we are seeing all the suffering, and we're giving it the label of suffering because this is how we're choosing that. We're giving it that label. We're saying, okay, this is suffering now. Well, is it really suffering? So they're saying you're viewing this from your perception, and you're looking at it from glasses that are riddled with your personality and experiences, and your ego is casting judgment. So what this means is that, we've been brought up a certain way. We've had our certain experiences. We've been born, given a name, had friends, certain cultures. Our friend says, this is how I'm going to think. Our teachers have taught us certain things. Our parents have taught us certain things. So when we start looking at other cultures or things that are happening around the world, we start having a certain opinion formed already. And that opinion is our ego. And the ego is there to protect us. It says, watch out. This is against your point of view. This is the way of your perception. So this is not how you think. This is not how you feel. So watch out. So then we immediately cast judgment against it. But what they're saying is, by looking at it from a perception point of view through those glasses, we can't really understand truly what's going on. We're not allowing other opinions, other points of view to see it. So they say, instead of that, look at it from perception. Instead of perception, look at it from perspective. So that's pointed from your outside of your personality. So if you can imagine, when you're in meditation, we want to listen to the thoughts in your head. The thoughts in your head, it's okay to have thoughts. We don't necessarily want to get rid of them, but you want to observe it without casting judgment. You want to set those thoughts aside. So they're saying it's the same things that you want to do with the world. You want to observe the world, the things that are happening around the world, by setting yourself aside. Look at it as if you're looking at yourself in meditation. Don't look at yourself from doing your meditation from your thoughts. Do your meditation as if you're looking at yourself doing meditation. You are not casting judgment. So when we look at the world, we want to look at it from our perception, our perspective, which is outside of us. So this means taking a neutral point of view. So they can go on and say that perception, because we're using it from our personality and our judgment and how we've been brought up, our perception says, I'm not allowing other points of view. I don't want to know any other information. I close that off. I put myself a wall up, and we end up compartmentalizing ourselves. We close ourselves off from other information. So when we go into perspective, you go into, well, I'm just going to gather all the information that's out there and not cast any judgment on what I see. When you start approaching that from that aspect of it, you are now looking at the world. You're looking at the decisions of your life. You're looking at your choices that you make for yourself from outside of yourself. You're doing it from a point that is accepting. And when you move into that state of accepting, you move into the inclusion of love. You love everybody. You include everybody. Everyone's included. So going into perspective, which is outside of yourself, outside of your opinion, just observe it. And that is taking a neutral point. You're not taking a positive view. You're not taking a negative view. You are just staying in the middle. And when you stay in the middle, you accept all. You say, well, if you want to operate over there, that's okay. If you want to operate over there, that's okay. It's like watching kids trying to play with blocks, and you can tell them how to play, but that's the way that you do it. But then they might surprise you by playing with those blocks in a certain way that you didn't expect them to play with them. So this is moving ourselves into that state of perspective. And they say, when you want to open up your consciousness and channel more clearly, heal your body and mind, you need to be willing to accept the unlimited views of possibilities, which is the view outside of yourself, which is perspective. So when we start moving ourselves into perspective, we'll actually open up and we'll have our awakening even faster. We allow it to happen. So if there's certain meditations that's going to open up your Kundalini or open up your awareness, you're going to take certain classes that will open up everything about you so you can be the channel. If you have certain thoughts in your head, certain judgments, well, so-and-so said to do it this way. Well, they said it that way. You got to let that go and allow yourself to hear and receive all possibilities and just accept it. There's a saying in Chinese martial arts, for us, they say to approach things with an empty cup. They say before you can learn, you need to empty your cup. So if you can imagine, if your cup is full of water, you can't put any more water in there. You need to empty your cup before you can learn. So from the point of view, from perspective, you are outside of yourself and you're just allowing yourself to sip and drink the cup before you start filling it up with ideas, thoughts, and notions in there. So I thought that was really good. I really do want to thank the Council and I for coming through on that. Thanks everybody for being here. It is a beautiful, beautiful day, and we are here to answer your questions. So if anybody has any questions, please post it down in the comments. I'm going to highlight it. We'll put it through. And if you have any questions about perspective, perception, and any questions for yourself about anything on your awakening, on your emotional releases, let's talk about it right now. And I'm here for you. So let's go to the chats and see who's here. Hey, everybody. Hello, Sister Jenny. Hello, Brother Benefsha. My sister Benefsha, sorry. There we go. Hey, Jenny. Hello, Disha. Great to see you, lovey. Yes, pure white love. Hi, Babette. Hi, Kira. Hey, B. Great to see you, Brendita. Hello, hello, hello. SN, good to see you, buddy. It's been a while, mate. Are you back in the country yet? Or are you still overseas? Great. Disha says she got a similar message today in another form. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, when you end up moving your ideology from perception and that view within your own personality, and you let go of that and say, I'm just going to see things from another perspective. And by doing that, this is really this is what the black sheep comes in. If you're the black sheep of the family, this is a big one, right? Yeah, awesome. I'm glad that resonates, Benisha. Fernanda. All right, buddy. Does anybody have any questions? Anything you want me to channel, answer? Please post it. I'd love to hear it. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. Beautiful. Thanks, Babette. I'm going to start with Babette, and then we got Benefsha. Thank you, lovely. All right, beautiful. So Babette is coming through, and she says, question, does my guardian angel Rita have any messages for me? Rita, would you mind coming in, please? Whew. Okay, so what does Babette need to hear? What does Babette need to hear? She's showing me angel wings, Babette, but the wings are coming out of your back right now, and they're it's kind of, the wings are morphing in your back. So at one point they're showing me these small little baby wings, and then they move into these big dragon-sized wings or big adult angel wings, and they're moving from these large size to the small size. As you say, you're going in transition. Now, I'm assuming that you're doing this, and this is kind of a reminder to all of us to remember in our angels. Our angels are around us, and I'm guilty of this. I definitely don't call my angels in enough. There are angels around. They're here to support us and be with us. But the feeling is that they want you to call, your Rita wants you to call on her more often. You're a very strong, intelligent person, and there's a need for you to do things on your own. So I'm just going to do this on my own. I don't want to let other people do this for me. I'm strong enough. I'm smart enough. I can do this on my own, which you can. It also makes things a lot easier when you have someone else helping you out. If you know about tying a ribbon on a present, and you're putting the ribbon on, but the ribbon is so thick that when you make those first couple of ties and you let go to make the bows, the knot starts to become to unravel. But if someone has actually put their finger on there, so you can use your other two hands to finish the bow, it makes it that much easier. So it's not that you necessarily need the extra help, but it's nice to have it there when it's available. So what Rita is saying is that she'd like for you to call on her more often so that she can place the finger on the knot so you can tie the bow more easily. I hope that makes sense. That's really great analogy. Thank you, Rita. That was beautiful. Wonderful. I hope that answered your questions. Let me know in the comments how that resonates or not. Let's come to Benefsha. Hello, Benefsha. Benefsha says, I'd love to message my dragon guides about the current energies I've been feeling. So much love. Dragon guides, would you come through? Ooh. Just came in like a big sweeping energy coming through. What do you want to say about this, Dragon Guides? You know, Benefsha, I'm seeing you ride on the back of a dragon. And this is not a small feat. In order to ride on the back of a dragon, you need to be sure-footed. You need to be confident in yourself. One, that you're not going to fall off. The second is, if you really want to hang on, you need to let go. And in order to ride a dragon, you need to move with the flow and the movement of the dragon and become one with it. As you move with the dragon, you can do, they're showing me like loop-de-loops, doing these turns and intricate movements in the sky. And if you're holding on too tight, you can't experience it. You can't necessarily go with the flow. But they're showing me that you're able to let go. You're able to ride the wave and the flow of what movement goes through on the back of a dragon. And this is not necessarily for anyone that doesn't believe in dragons, not necessarily that you have to believe in a dragon. The idea is the analogy behind it is that if you put yourself on the back of a dragon in that possibility, and you want to ride a dragon, you need to let go, which you are doing. You can't help but have those moments like, oh my God, like those little short gases, like of short bursts of fear. And they don't necessarily want you to worry about that because that's not what your intention is to. But it's for you to accept that these little moments of, oh my gosh, I have a little bit of fear, what's going on right now, those moments are supposed to happen. And through the experience of having those fearful moments, you let go of them because they no longer become fear and you become proficient at riding a dragon. And this is a very long-winded way of coming to say that, stay with the experience, keep going and doing what you're doing, and you will learn from the experience. And those little moments, those gasps, as oh my gosh, those moments, they are expected to happen. So let them go. They're all part of the journey. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Thanks, Benefsha. I love it. Great question. Beautiful. Essence says still overseas. Good stuff. You do have a question. Awesome. Okay, let me ask your question, and then Georgia, I'm going to be coming to you too. So still overseas for now. Question, I've been going through a tough time. Can I look forward to better times ahead? Thank you and much love. Essence, they're shaking their head. Ugh. Out of anybody to ask this question, you've had like lifetimes worth of tough times, and every moment in that tough time, when the right person comes into your life, where you have a conversation, where you begin to let go, good times roll back and you let that go. It's like, oh, I feel good again. They're saying the good times will always be there. They're always going to be around the corner for you. And that they're saying this, remember, this is part of that ebb and flow, that we have really super high positive moments. We feel amazing. We feel great. And then there's a point that we begin to crest off, and maybe we might dip down a little bit. Now, previously, we would dip all the way down and feel life is just horrible. Life is garbage for me. I can't survive this. But then sure enough, out of those low moments, good things happen. And it's because of those low moments that we can have the high moments in our life. So remember that we have that ebb and flow. We have those high moments. We have the low moments. But ultimately, what you are moving is moving forward. It's not necessary that you're having high and low moments. That's just part of the journey. That's the curve of the road. Ultimately, though, you are moving forward, and the destination is always the same. And it's always going to be a good destination. No matter how bad you might feel that destination is, or how bad your experience is in the present moment, the destination is always positive. It's always good, and you're always going to learn something. because we don't learn things when things are wonderful and beautiful and life is wonderful. We don't necessarily learn there unless you get yourself into a certain state of understanding. But ultimately, it's those low moments that my life is really crap right now. It's those moments when we learn our lessons, when we begin to discover certain things, because in those moments, we're looking for an answer. And that's when the answer comes. And then we learn. So this is the gift of having the low moments. And remember, every low moment when they come into you, think to yourself, all right, there's something for me to learn here, and it's going to be really good. It's going to catapult me. Once I learn it, it's going to catapult me up that next high moment. So it is only temporary. Definitely going to be temporary for you. I hope that makes sense. Amazing. Love it, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Babette. Thank you so much for that super chat. So sweetie, hun. Really do appreciate that. Everybody's here. Thank you so much for being a part of it as well. If you kind of like this stuff, give me a like, give me a share. You don't necessarily have to do a gift like Babette has given. Thank you, Babette. You can just like, you can share it, get some other people involved. That is a gift in itself. So let's come to the beautiful Georgia. Georgia says, hi, dear ones. There's a message for me to go to. Is there a message for Georgia? I'm being directed towards your awakening. So a lot of people, they read a lot of books. They know about the awakening. They study a lot of information. And they do a lot of good things. They surround themselves with good things. They feel really good about things. Where they're pulling me towards is the things that you're not looking at. This is the lower emotional states that you might have. This is beginning to observe the trauma that you might have in your past life, any ill effect that you might have in your body, any pains, any aches. So they want to remind us that, remember, the body is going to communicate with us in two ways. It's going to either give us pain or pleasure. So the body, if it feels really good, that's a happiness. It feels good. Just like, oh, I feel really good right now. You can feel that in your whole body. And that's where you're spending a lot of your time in. But then there's those moments where you have an ache, a pain, some soreness. And that is also the body talking to us. It just so happens to be in a vibration that doesn't feel so good. So we tend to avoid those moments of not feeling good. But this is the body calling for attention. And this is what they're bringing to your attention. And this really does go for all of us, that when we start feeling a little bit low, you start getting pain, you start feeling that panic or fear, take a moment to tune into yourself. This is all part of our awakening process. Awakening is moving yourself into the truth. Our entire generations before us have been burying the truth, masking it with drugs, with alcohol, promiscuity, doing something to distract us, like a movie or going out, buying clothes. It's something to just completely distract us. We just spend time in the good and forget about the things that we don't feel so good. But when you deal with the stuff that doesn't feel so good, you feel liberated, because now it's just not going to bother you again. That when something similar happens into your life again, you've dealt with it and you have experience with this. No, that's not the truth. You now know what the truth is. Again, part of your awakening. So continue to maybe look at some of those moments in your life that you've been avoiding, and also look at some of the aches and pains, the fearful moments that you're having, and take a moment. Take your hand, put your hand on your heart, put your hand on that area where you're feeling it. Notice where you're feeling your body. And this is your body communicating with you. So this is all part of our process in developing awareness. I'm aware, okay, I'm awake. Once you're aware, you can see things that others cannot see. You can see the feelings within you. Look at those feelings, observe them. So that's now transmuting emotions, moving energy outside of your body, and that allows you to move further up and move into ascension. That is the process. So they're saying, remember those moments that you've been avoiding and consider looking at the low moments in your life. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. That was very cool. Very cool. Love it. Okay. So Brandita says, I'm working with my Peruvian heritage and connecting with my Inca ancestors this month. Cool. My father this lifetime crossed over when I was a baby. He was born in Peru. Does he have any advice for me? Great. Okay. Papa, would you come in, please? Ooh. Are you willing to come in? You come in closer. So what I'm getting from this, from your birth father, is that he's a little reluctant in stepping forward completely because his lifetimes hasn't been in this area of pure love. He's had a lot of hardship. Being in Peru, it was a little bit more of a survival situation for him. They needed to survive. So he's reluctant to move into that state of love where this community is. And I want everybody to remember that this community is all about love. That's the only energy that I work with. Any being, any energy, any thought, any communication, I only put myself into love. And anyone who comes to my space is transmuted into love. So this is working with the highest and greatest vibrations for our greatest lessons. Doesn't mean that I'm avoiding low vibrational stuff. I want that vibrational stuff, but because I've awakened and I've looked at the high vibrational stuff, I can safely look at the low vibrational stuff. I can look at the fears, the trauma, the really horrible things that my brain and body has blocked out, all those memories blocked out. So they're bringing that to your attention in this roundabout way, is that you've had a lot of trauma, not only in your upbringing in life, because you've had a pretty hard life, but remember, you're carrying forward the generational trauma of your families, because any trauma that we might hold in our bodies goes back 4 generations, and we hold on to that trauma 4 generations forward. And this is why doing shadow work, doing the emotional work, release stuff, the trauma work, observing our emotions, transmuting it, that's why it's really important to look at that. So as you're working with your ancestors, your Inca ancestors, also observe the traumas, the hardship that they might have gone through. And as you observe it, understand it so you can be transmuted. So not only can you heal those past generations, you can heal future generations. One final point to stay on that, because remember, we talk about past and future, but time does not. Time is all happening at one point. All happening now, all the lifetimes, all the generations, all the experiences, all the infinite possibilities is all happening right now. That's the quantum mechanics. So as you take care of one, you're healing all timelines, all ancestors, all personalities, all dimensions. So if you have that mindset in you as you're going through your discovery, I hope that's fair. Yeah. Beautiful. Fernanda says, I felt pushed by spirit to post channeled information on Facebook today on this magical solstice day. Happy solstice, everybody. I feel like I'm being encouraged to start posting more of what I receive. Any guidance on me? Yes. Just angels are singing. The trumpets are going off. We've got the confetti cannons blasting off. They're just so happy for you, Fernanda, because you've been making really big, dramatic shifts lately, especially coming out of Rachel and I's our 102 course. You really have just moved into a strong confidence and knowing within yourself. You've awoken up into another stage of reality that you now know. It's like all these things that have been happening to me as part of our awareness that we start questioning, is that really happening? Am I crazy? Am I weird? What's wrong with me? Why am I going through all this stuff? And now it's like, yeah, no, it's cool. I like it. Oh yeah, I now know what it is. Oh yeah, I'm good with it. I'm not crazy. I'm perfectly sane. I feel really good. So now you're part of this community, now this part safe community, and all of us are awakening, all of us are shifting, and you've moved into that confidence that allows you to express yourself. So notice how this makes you feel, that you felt guided to post on Facebook. You're like, wow, this feels really good, although I'm scared, but it felt really good. So because the feeling was really good and there was that little bit of anxiety that was, oh, I don't know if I really know about this, but I really feel drawn to do this. This is you moving into your alignment, to your path, and to where you need to go in life. So this is exactly what happened for you. You are moving to your purpose, to your pathway. So remember to do what you love, keep doing it. When it no longer excites you, you drop it, and then you move on to the next thing that's bringing you joy and passion. And this is us staying on our pathway for our ascension and our move into a greater life. So amazing. I'm super happy for you, Fernando. I'm really excited for you. That's amazing. I love it. Love it, love it. Jacqueline asks, is there anything I need to know for today? Yeah, you need to know you already know everything. So the fact that we actually ask these questions, it's you already know the answer to what you're asking. And I'm posting this up so people remember when you ask questions for messages or what do I need to know today, you already know the answers if you take a breath. Tune into yourself. What do I need to know? I already know everything. Do I even need to ask this question? So that is what you're being reminded for. Now, I know you had a specific question in your mind, but what they're encouraging you to do, because this is part of your practice in spiritual awakening, is for you to tune into your own self and ask that question. What do I need to know? Do I even need to know this? What if I stay in the present moment and allow whatever to happen? And that is something, instead of being in the future, because when we stick ourselves in the future, we're always trying to plan and control. And that plan and control is rigid. It doesn't allow you to move into your alignment. Compared to staying in the past and worrying about the past and worry about things that have happened, you leave yourself in the past and you hold yourself back, moving moving yourself into possibilities. So the idea is to stay in the present moment and just allow whatever happens to happen for you. So consider that instead of asking questions about what's going to happen in the future, what do I need to know next, what's going to happen for today, well, maybe you don't need to know, and stay in the present moment, and you're going to get through it. That's much faster. Really cool. I love spirit guide. Jennifer's laughing. She got the same message. I got the same message for Essen. Why would you ever doubt things will change? I love it. Too funny. Yes, peacock. You ever see the peacock feather right there? I got a little. I'm going to go the other way here. No. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do this backwards now. No, that's not it. It's there. There we go. There's the peacock feather. If you can see that, yeah. Love the peacock feather. Okay, so Disha says, I did a ritual today where my body shaked in light going from head. I did a ritual today where my body shaked, light going from my head. I don't know why. After that, I felt calling to ask for guidance regarding leaving India and joining a university in the West, Washington. Please guide me. Thank you. Yeah. Amazing. Okay, let me tune in for you. Whew. Okay, so when you start going through your awakening process, we start going through our ascension process, going through your Kundalini awakenings. All this is different labels for kind of the same thing, that you open yourself up to receive information. So notice that it comes in from the top, from your crown, and that crown is kind of like the portal to your third eye. So the third eye is your pineal gland. It connects into the third eye between your brows. The opening and the portal is the crown chakra at the very top here. And as that opens, you allow information is. The light is white because when white light goes through a prism, it breaks apart like a rainbow. You can see all the colors of a rainbow, which correlate into the main chakras. So you can see that white light comes in, it disperses, and then moves through all the chakras throughout the body. And now you are awakening all the chakras in your body and get clarity and knowledge and wisdom. So that light that came through and you have that shaking, profound effect in your body is definitely happening on purpose. Now, the idea about leaving India, how does that make you feel? If you take your hand and you place it on your heart and just breathe and feel your heart, calm yourself down for a minute. So you're leaving India. You're going to Washington. Now I'm starting to get these little palpitations of excitement. And there's not fear-based, it's excitement because there's possibilities. There's something new happening. There's also a freeing happening for you when you start having these Kundalini awakenings and you have these ascension moments. That excitement that you're feeling in your heart right now is you moving closer to your path. This is kind of like our radar within ourselves. Like, am I doing the right things for me? And your heart begins to palpitate. So, it feels that nervous excitement. It's scary because it's something new. But, the first day of going into any type of classroom, any type of lesson, a new job, a new relationship, we always have that nervous butterflies. But it's exciting because we want it to happen. But once you get through that nervous butterflies, we get used to it. We're really in that pathway. So for me, it feels like this is a really good thing. But notice how it feels for you. Don't take my word for it. Put your hand on your heart, breathe, take a moment, and notice how you feel. And I think I already feel your excitement, and I expect it's the same thing for you. This is a really good thing. So that's beautiful. I'm really happy for you. Really super happy for you. Love it. There's my beautiful sister. Hi, Vanessa. Vanessa says, makes total sense in terms of trusting more, going with the flow, and surrendering to the divine. Yes, absolutely. This is all part of our awakening, our shift that we're going into. As I said earlier, our awakening means that we are awakening to the truth. We've been masked with these ideas, with our personalities, with our conditioning, which just doesn't feel right to us anymore. It's like, something doesn't feel right. I don't like being inside my body. I don't like being inside this personality, this conditioning. Let me start looking for something else. We start finding our soul tribe. We start finding our something that excites us. So like this, start doing a Kundalini awakening meditation, start researching it, start doing angel cards, start doing channeling. And as we do that, we start moving into this feels right for me. You start moving into your truth. And this is what an awakening is. And in that awakening, you feel lighter. That lightness is you ascending and moving up. Now, when you move yourself and you allow that place that we said at the start, Council 9 said, moving yourself out of that perception, the perception, and the perception is with that walled, caked-in personality that we hold in ourselves, outside of it to a perspective. By looking from the outside to the in, we can now say, oh, now I can see it more clearly, and I can see what's happening to me, what's happened to me, because that's not me anymore. So you open up your perspective. So that's exactly what's happening, and this is how we ascend. And start with that one little shift. It's amazing. And you are clearly a master of that, Vanessa. You're amazing. So much to learn from you. It's wonderful. Wonderful. I kept you. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Okay. George says, I felt grief in my heart. Good. So remember, this isn't a bad thing. We've been labeled to say, when I feel grief, if I'm not feeling good and I feel any other emotion that's not positive, I need to stuff it away. Well, this is where we need to allow ourselves to observe and feel the grief and notice the grief, feel it, experience it without judgment, without casting it, without trying to give it away. Just be present with it and notice what happens. This is our body. Our body are like children. It's like the animal. It's not able to communicate with us in words or certain ways. It can only speak to us in feeling good or not feeling so great. So when you start feeling grief, this is the child within you. It says, Mommy, I need some attention. Give me some attention. But what do? We don't even give ourselves 5 minutes to pay attention to ourselves. So if we're going to do anything to ourselves, take a moment to have you fed your body some good nutrition. Have you given it some nice fresh fruit? Have you given it something really good, high vibe nutrition today? Have you given it water? Have you spoken to it? Have you said something nice to it? So we want to start doing good things to it. And then when it starts feeling us trusting enough that it feels grief, that we can pay attention to it. And if we don't do it, we keep on ignoring it, that feeling is going to get you more and more and worse. And that's the whole reason why the symptoms of MS and degenerative disc disease showed up in my body, because I never paid my body attention. It was a thing. It was me. I was forcing it. I got to work harder. I got to train harder. I got to exercise harder. I got to do better. And all I did was just make myself sick because I wasn't listening to my body. So that little bit of grief is a wonderful way to begin to look at it. It's a gift when our body talks to us. It says grief. It's like, thank you for talking to me. Thank you for making yourself known to me and letting me know that something's going on. Because if they didn't let it, then you're not going to deal with it. This is a gift to feel grief. I'm really super happy. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Thank you, dear. Good. Yay. So happy. Trance channeling right now. Good. Yes. Immediately, Julia, what came through in trance channeling is when we start trance channeling, and that's happened to me in the past, and when I've trance channeled and allowed whatever to happen come through me, I initially felt a little bit of fear come in, and they're saying to let the fear go, and this is what they guided me to do. I let the fear go. When you let go of the fear, and as long as you know that you're protected, if you want to create some protection around you, I only allow love inside my space. I only allow love to leave my space. I call my guides, my angels, my team to create protection. Now, whether you believe it or not, do something along those lines that you know that there's a higher force protecting you or looking out for you, but you need to call them in. So put yourself in that bubble of protection. Once you're in that bubble of protection, whether you believe it or not, psychologically, or your body is going to feel safer, that when you begin to channel, when you do a trance channeling, you can let yourself go and surrender into it and allow what to pass through. If at any point you don't feel good about a trance channel, then you stop it because you are in complete control. No one can take over your body unless you allow it. If you say, oh, I'm being taken over, and you give yourself into the taking over, it's going to happen. But if you say, no, I dictate what's happening here. I'm in control. So remember to hold your boundaries and stay in control of any information that comes through, because you are the master of this body. You are the one that has a silver cord tethered from your pineal gland to the infinite realm that's out there. So you are in control because you have the direct line. People can make it seem like they can control you, but they can't. So same thing goes with beings. No other being can control you because you are in charge of this body and that personality. So let yourself go, but also set your boundaries. Love it. Beautiful. Good. You're welcome for the reminder. I'm really happy to hear that. Robinette, you're asking about your brother Tim. I feel him often, but I miss him terribly. So consider changing your perspective. You know this, and you know exactly what I'm going to say right now. I know you can feel it because you know the answer to this. Again, what have we said, and what has always come through when we miss somebody and we start thinking about them? That means they're automatically there. They are with you. Now we miss them and we miss their physical touch, their physical presence. But when you start going into your meditative state, placing your hand on your heart, quieting yourself down, taking a moment to just feel and really feel Tim. Feel them with you. And there's a desire for you to connect. Tim is great. It's you, the one that spirit worries about. It's because you're still in this dream state. You're still in the body. So if you want to connect with loved ones, you want to connect with people that you miss, and you think about them, they're automatically there. Right now, I'm thinking about my mom. She's right here. No, I'm thinking about my dad. Oh, he's right here. Like they pop in instantly. And as soon as you place your attention into me, you can connect into them. Now, if you want to feel them, you need to quiet yourself down. Get yourselves into that quiet state of quieting your mind, quieting your body. And then as you call them in, have a conversation, feel, laugh, then raise your vibrations through laughter and start joking and just feel them and allow whatever happened with them. Share those good memories with them and just laugh and cry, and you'll notice you actually will be able to feel them very closely. So consider doing that. Yeah, love it. Beautiful. Ganesh says, I've been reading the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. That's Dr. Joe Dispenza. How to Lose Your Mind to Create a New One. Yes. So when I started my awakening, that's what I started with. And I became a very proficient student of Dr. Joe Dispenza's, that even still today, 5 years later, I'm hosting the healing circles that Dr. Joe Dispenza is starting with. So Dr. Joe Dispenza has, at his retreats, will have these healing circles. And in the healing circles, when the vibration gets higher enough at the end of the retreat, they'll do these healing circles that people start having these instant healings. Now, if you're aware enough, you'll see a lot of the tall whites come in and start actually lifting people up off the ground and changing them. And this is what, when I do a healing circle weekly, and part of my host, and I have the tall whites come in every single time, or the majority of the time, for a healing circle. So Dr. Joe Dispenza is an amazing, amazing research to help move from the analytical mind to breaking the sciences, to breaking it down to understanding what's happened to us spiritually. For myself, that scientific side starting to fade away, although I am very analytical and I love the science part of it. I also move more into the spiritual side, because Dr. Joe Dispenza can only teach and show so much from a group level and in his books. You can only, until you start going into your own self-discovery, which is what I've been doing for the last 5 years. Really cool. I love it. Great book. Thank you, Benefsha. Love it. Yes. Awesome. Sacred circle first and always. Beautiful. Love it. All right. It's me. Esmeralda. Hi, Esmeralda. Thank you for saying that. With lots of love and light to you all. So nice. See, this is our community, right? You're always safe in the community. It says, what do I need to know for my guides right now? Each time I find the key to an event, something blocks me to see the door, even if it's in front of me. Okay. All right. What's... okay. So there's a feeling that we have when we get stuck. So Esmeralda, you use the term being blocked, and it's the same thing as feeling stuck. And when you're feeling blocked, we start focusing on the block. Start thinking that you feel the block, you see it, and then you just stare at it. And you think, block, 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 I'm blocked, I'm blocked. And that's all you can say in your mind. For you specifically, when you start feeling this block, notice where it shows up in your body. And there's a need for you to observe it in a different way. We're also pointing to the meditations we do on Sundays. So the Sunday meditations is a free thing that I do here on this channel. That we go through a process of practicing our awakening and becoming more aware of things. And then there's a point in there where we start looking at the blockages, the traumas, the emotions, the things that are holding us back. And that is where they're pointing me to look at you, or for you to look at, is that the block isn't necessarily happening. So if you roll back to the beginning of this live event, we had the idea of perception versus perspective. So right now, your perception is that you are blocked. But if you look at it from outside of the block and observe you being blocked and notice what the block is, when you pull yourself back and look at it from not within yourself, but from outside of yourself, you might be able to see how you can walk around that block. Because you're not necessarily blocked. If you ever see, there's these videos that, there's a fence and a dog is on one side and their ball is on the other side. And the dog is just staring through the gap in the hole in the fence, and they're just staring at this ball that's just out of their reach. And they just got the saddest face that they want this ball and they can't reach it. But then the camera pans over just off to the side and there's a gate. The gate is just wide open. And you're looking at it and it's like, why don't you just go around the gate? But because they're stuck in their perception, the perception is, this is my only window between these two fences. But if you pull yourself back you'll be able to see that there's actually a gate beside you. So for you specifically, they're saying to consider stepping yourself back, look at the block that you're having within yourself, and use that as a way to get around the block, to observe the block and to understand it. Yeah. Hope that makes sense. There's a lot more to unpack here. If you want to go through a process on this, consider booking a consultation with me, and I can walk you through that process. But I also feel that it's something you can do on your own. You can check out some of the meditations that we do on the Sundays, live every Sunday, and start joining in on that, and see what you get for yourself. Yeah, I love it. Love it. Good. He says, so excited about moving abroad. Amazing. I used to only feel fear, and it never wanted to feel, never wanted to leave, but now it feels my home is somewhere in the West. Yeah, not Washington, the West. Okay, good. I knew it was one of the two. Yes, I felt some change in my body shaked. It always just me to let it happen. I used to get scared, but today I let it happen. Yes. Awesome. So there's our experience, right? So we're moving from initially it's fear, because the fear is a reaction of the body. The body doesn't realize that this is something new. So the animal child body is like, this is new. Oh my gosh, what is this? Let me get my guard up. Let's be careful. But then through experience and practice, we start getting used to it. We let go of that resistance, and then we open up and move into a new possibility and realm. Super exciting. You're very welcome, Tisha. Very welcome. Everybody, thank you all again for being here for another Channeling Spirit Friday. Every week I'm back on Fridays, and Sundays I am back for meditations. And I hope you will join me. My name is Con Knight, spiritual and emotional guide. So consider booking a one-on-one session with me if you are looking for a little bit of guidance. On my page, you'll see a lot of other information on there. We are currently live streaming on my channel at connight.com and Intuitive Soul Rising on Rachel Swanee's channel, where we have our own newsletter and we have our group when we do courses. So consider signing up for our newsletter. And you can also sign up to my own personal newsletter at connight/VIP if you want to get in for other Ascension information. So with that, everybody, thank you all for being here. You are all so wonderful. Have a great solstice, and we will see you either this Sunday for meditation or next Friday for the next live. Much love, everybody. Bye. I'll see you next time. Bye.